one question a lot of people ask is, how is that Stinkor figure doing after it's been hit with the patchouli oil? So I'm going to have my wife come in here again and give it a sniff, and we'll see. So I have it in this Ziploc baggie that I kept it in ever since I doused him in patchouli oil. And then we'll get going with our video. Alright, so she's coming in the room now. Come a little closer. Here's the bag. She's smiling. She knows it's going to be bad. Hey, toys of a time gone by. She's smelling it. Hey, take him out and actually smell him.
You can still smell it, but it's not strong like it was.
Alright. So my wife says you can still smell it, but it's not as strong as it was. And there is a little bit of greasy on his legs a little bit. Maybe I was already there. No, because that was already there. So I don't see any damage on the figure caused by the patchouli oil. So I guess it didn't stay as strong, which I'm surprised it didn't, but it does still have some smell. So I guess the amount I used was fine. I know for a while our house stunk for like 4 or 5 days after I did it, but it doesn't stink anymore. So there we go. Hey, Clarissa, thanks for joining us. James, thanks for being here. Ghostface, hey, thanks for being here as well. All right, so what I want to talk about is kind of a little controversial when it comes to the He-Man world, and that is the Conan He-Man connection. So I know this has been debunked and fought about and argued, and that is Wonder Bread He-Man. Where did he come from? How did it start? What's going on with him? And I know that Scott and I already put out that one video saying, hey, it was from, this letter this lady had about how her son had a special edition He-Man figure without any accessories. But that still does not answer why. Why did we have the special edition brown-haired He-Man? Now, of course, there's been all kinds of rumors about, that it was part of the Conan line, wasn't part of the Conan line. Regardless, is we got a blonde He-Man. We did not get a brown-haired He-Man when he was released. And, of course, all the comics and everything else always show a blonde-haired. So where did the brown-haired come from? So, of course, was always thought, hey, maybe it's Wonder Bread, because that's what we had those cards from. Maybe it's Nestle Quick. Maybe it's a store thing. But either way, at the time, there was the Conan movie in theaters, and that's what attracted a lot of us to He-Man figures in the first place, was Conan. So I'm surprised they didn't go with a brown-haired He-Man, probably afraid of being sued. But we do know when they came to Classics, they did re-release Wondar for us, and even gave us the Wonder Bread symbol on the back of his armor. Now, this video is not just to talk about where Wonder Bread He-Man came from, but it's also to talk about the whole Conan, the edge, the line that they've been skating for so long on how close the Conan figures have been. I mean, this is so close to a Conan. It's a muscular guy in furry underpants and furry boots with brown hair. I mean, for most intents and purposes, it pretty much is basically almost Conan. Now, of course, I did take and put a vest on mine and call him Wondar the Barbarian. And then, of course, Spy Monkey Creations, they gave us the Toast Shield and the Wonder Bread Loaf. Actually, the Wonder Bread Loaf actually came with the figure, didn't it? So I guess it was just the Toast Shield we got. And that was kind of a fun little throwback thing we got as well. So then we got other figures in the Classics line. Like we got this Vikor, which was definitely so Conan, it's almost uncanny. I mean, he's got the chains hanging on his wrist, just like we would have seen if he was captured. He's got the long brown hair, or black hair. He's got the helmet on top. He has the long loincloth. He's got, of course, the boots that are fixed. He even has kind of a Conan-looking necklace on there as well. So a lot of people bought this. And look at his face. I mean, come on. That is so Conan. I don't know. Kind of hard to see. This light's making it worse. There we go. He's so Conan. I don't know how you could not say he was. In fact, many people did buy him who are Conan collectors just so they could have him. All right, so when it came to Vikor, I actually made a few different changes on my own. So I actually made a Vikor without a helmet. There we go. And I used He-Man's hair and painted it black and stuck it on his head. So I had an extra helmet now that I did that. And so I decided to take that extra helmet and put it onto Vikor. Now, Vikor, as we know, came with this, like this goblet on his head, or some kind of um, royal drinking cup. You know, like he lost his drinking game. They said, "You got to wear that cup around for the next 10 years." No, I don't want to wear the cup. And so you can kind of see. Now, it does stink when they first release Vykron, which is not Vikor, different than that. Vykron came in a special pack that came with the Barbarian theme, the tank top theme, and the space theme. And it would be packed out in all three ways. Now, I still have a Barbarian one still sealed in the package because I thought it was the coolest one out of all of them. But, you know, he only came with one body and then three things of armor. So if you wanted to display them all, you had to buy 3 Vykrons and display them. Now, one bad thing about Vykron, which was kind of frustrating, was, let's see, where is that? Is this? There he is. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, look really close, and you can see there's kind of like a grayish around the skin right there. That grayish around the skin is actually, they use black plastic. And that black plastic is underneath. You can see a little scratch on his shoulder right there through the paint. They actually used black plastic to make this figure, then painted it. And so it's like, no, because any kind of rough play or anything else is going to cause this paint to scrape off. His biceps are black, his shoulders are black, and I'm not sure what color his forearms are. They're probably black too. But they had this idea of, you know, just making a whole bunch of parts ahead of time in black plastic so they could use them for multiple figures, for like Skeletor and Vicron and some other ones. So when I made my Ultimate Vicron, I actually used Vikor's body, so he doesn't have the black underneath. It's actually cast in skin tone. Now the biceps and the forearms and everything else still belong to Vykron, because of course Vikor has the armband. So I basically took the torso and then swapped out all the parts. And the legs are also Vikor's too. So this is kind of a mixture of the figure. And basically it's just the helmet's all it's different. So if I was to take and put on the old Goblet Helmet, and he looks the same as he came originally. Now it is funny, this head looks more He-Man-like than the head we originally got. So many of us did put He-Man's hair on it and made a special version. I don't have them out right now, but I've shown them before in other videos where I've done and made that does not fit very well. Fit on there, man. There we go. Yeah, it took a lot of sanding to get that to fit inside there originally, because his head is 2 different sizes, but now the hair rides on the neck, and that's the issue with that. All right, so when it came to Vykron, we actually, yes, the Mark Taylor, that's correct. And basically it was based on Big Jim figures that he put clay on and then released those 3 sets. So it was always kind of fun to take and modify them. So here's one that I wanted to modify. So I used a 2000X Man-at-Arms body, the Snake Man-at-Arms, and threw the armor on him. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing. He's got the jetpack. And I believe the original Mark Taylor release, they actually used a Boba Fett head. That's why the head looks so much like Boba Fett. Now, I did make numerous heads for this. I have this head right here, which is just the regular, ordinary head. And then I have this head right here, which is just black shrink tubing with some O-rings in it. That way then you can look more like Boba Fett, which I think was kind of cool to do that. All right. And then, of course, here's my tank top. Tank top. And basically I used the Batman body, because I like the utility belt. It looks very military. And then just threw that on there, and then threw on, I think it was some Man-at-Arms boots, are the boots I used for that. So there is my tank top version. And then he sports carrying the helmet around too. I don't know where I stuck the helmet at, but I like him without the helmet on most of the time, instead of the big old gun for a helmet. Now for storage, this does come off, so you can pop that off. Now before we get much further, I do want you guys to notice the link. A friend of mine named Mike, he is a huge He-Man collector, and he's also one of the viewers here on the show. I forgot my iPad. he is selling a bunch of stuff. I put the link in the description, and all his profits go towards charity for Christmas. So if you want to help out some families during Christmas, check out Mike's stuff. He has He-Man stuff on there. He's got Origin stuff. He had the guards on there for a while, the Eternian Palace guards for Origin. So check out that link if you're here watching my video right now. It's pretty cool. It'll help out some local families for Mike, so that'll be cool. All right, so I think that's pretty much all that I have. Let me check your guys' questions really quick that you have. So yeah, I could go kind of wild in some of these. And it's funny is I realized the other day that I do not have a regular Vikor that's not been altered. The closest one is this one, but he has the wrong helmet on. And then this one is actually King Grayskull's body with Vikor's head, which I think looks really cool. Putting King Grayskull's or Vikor's head on King Grayskull. I mean, it's like, man, that looks cool. I actually like this better than the regular Vikor we got. So I did recently buy one more Vikor so I could have one that's unaltered, and that's why I got the one mint in the box sitting right there. Eventually I'll open them up and do a grand opening video of me cracking them open. All right, let's look at your guys' questions. Yep, that's the prototype Mark Taylor made. That's correct. Mark Taylor's releasing Never Seen Lords of Power figures, and one of them looks like a Viking Conan. Yep, that Lords of Power stuff looks pretty cool. Will we still be toy collectors if we have been able to get most of the toys we wanted as kids? You know, that's kind of funny. I don't know. I mean, yes, most of us are vicariously living out our childhoods through our adult spending, so it is kind of crazy. It would be so cool though to go back in time and give myself all these awesome toys. That would be really cool. I'd really enjoy it. Let's see. A bunch of hellos. Hello, Bullwinkle. Thanks for joining me. I believe they already made a Conan figure originally. They could sell him and had offered him for free. Wow, that's a good guess that they may have used that as a Conan figure because they couldn't sell him because of legal reasons. So they just gave him out free in the stores. And I've heard that theory before. Now Super 7 did give us this Conan figure, which is cool because it's this very similar to He-Man's body that we got from the Classics line. It doesn't have any pinholes, so that's a huge advancement. So, which does make it harder to customize. You just can't take and rip off parts. Now, of course, the bicep cut, you can rip it off there, but not the elbow or the knees or the ankles. But it is a pretty cool looking figure. And this face does look the most like Arnold than other ones I've seen. So that is pretty cool. So it is fun to actually have a real Conan figure now. But you know, the Vikor was a pretty cool stand-in while we had it though. And actually Vikor looks more like the cartoon version or comic book version of Conan than the Arnold Schwarzenegger one does. All right. So in the comments, put, do you believe that this was supposed to be a Conan figure they couldn't sell, so they decided to just give them out in stores to kids, or if it is a legit special version figure that they made later on. Hey, Katie Potter, thanks for being here. Yes, Barbarian He-Man does look pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Savage He-Man too. That looks pretty cool too. I like that. Wondar the Barbarian. I wanted to use the black armor for a Zodak, and it's only way you get the black armor was getting another Wondar. Anyway, it was funny though. I remember when I got this guy. I thought it was so cool. He was one of the last. It took so long for me to open him because I wanted to keep him in the box for a long time, and he actually was a really good figure for the joints. I mean, he had tight ankles. His joints all moved really well, and I remember telling people online that I couldn't believe how well this figure was built. It was actually seen to be made better than the other figures at the time. But somebody else was telling me they got theirs and he had weak ankles and all kinds of issues. So I guess we all didn't have the same experience. Your Wonder Bread He-Man's hair looks different. Well, mine's not an official one. This is one that was made out of a Fisto. See, still has Fisto's action feature, and his legs are Fisto's legs. They're a little bit darker, and then his arms are He-Man's arms, and of course his chest is Fisto's. And you can tell because one, it's wider here where the arm hook's on. So because of that, you can tell it's Fisto's because Fisto's shoulders were actually bigger around. Now the reason why I use Fisto, he's the only figure that had a brown loincloth. So when you pull his leg back, you can still see brown on the inside. And I found one with really dark purple, almost black. And so that's why I used him to make him. And he's a pretty common figure to use. I made one also for a toy store friend of mine. And when I made my friends, when I did the arm, I drilled a hole and put a pin in there so this feature didn't work anymore. Because the arm will still turn beyond the feature. So you can just freeze the feature by putting a pin in there and then still have the arms move. Yeah, I don't have an actual real Wonder Bread He-Man. I never actually knew anybody in my area that had one. So I think they're mostly in the East Coast. When I see people online talk about them, they seem to always be in the East Coast. If you guys have an official Wonder Bread version, let me know. And then and what part of the country you're from. But most people I've talked to, they're East Coasters, so that have had them. And I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so there you go. All right. Mattel will never say it's hush hush. They all know. Master of the Universe the best. Yes, I think it's the best too. Clarissa, thanks for joining us. Yep, and Classics, of course, is my favorite. I love Classics. Now, this one right here is kind of a fun one. This is actually He-Man's head on there. And it's the one that has the hood. And I wanted to use the mask because it's kind of cool having the masked eyes under the helmet. Just gives it that extra little pop. And so that's why I have the masked version of He-Man's head on this one here. Now, one time I was using a King Hiss head underneath there. It just looked kind of weird because his eyes had snake eyes. And so the King Hiss version I actually ended up selling because it just looked kind of bizarre with the snake eyes, and I figured somebody else might enjoy them. All right. You know what? I'm going to look for that Mark Taylor thing. Hold on a second. I think I happen to have a picture of it somewhere. That's the mini comics. You guys can stare at these figures while I go find my book. I thought it was in the art book, but maybe it's in this toy book here. It makes sense to put it in the toy book. So let's take a look here and see if the Mark Taylor, not Mark Taylor, I can't remember his name now. Roger Smith. Roger, help me out, people. This is just the toys only. Oh, I don't know where I stuck that other book at. Here it is, The Art of He-Man. Let's see if it's in there. Oh yeah, there's... So there's one of the toys from Roger Sweet. That was his name. See, gotta look that up. Maybe he was not in this book. I know I had one of the books that had the picture of it, looked really nice. I used it in a video one time. Okay. Let me check one more place. The Power and Honor book. There it is. Dun-da-da. There they are. You can see the Boba Fett head, and you can see the different styles and different types he has. And basically, I guess from what I understand, is these were big gym dolls that he put extra clay and stuff on to give him muscles and stuff. And here's a close-up of just the Barbarian. Yep, pretty cool. I was tempted to get a Boba Fett just to put this giant head on to a regular He-Man figure. Alright, cool. Well, you guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. How come we don't have a battle ram yet? Yeah, come on, Mattel. We want that battle ram. See, those are so expensive. I'm not sure what one can, especially from eBay, how I can tell it's real or not. Yeah, when it comes to Wonder Bread He-Man, how to tell it's real or not, there's, if you go to He-Man.org, they got a whole entire, I don't know, 500-page forum on it. Now, mine, when I did it, you can see the paint starting to kind of crust on the head a little bit. But I guess a real one has like some kind of gap on the belt. I'm not sure exactly what it is, and the belly button's different. And then he has the uncircumcised neck around the top, and then on the back it should have the date inside his head. But I purposely chose a head that had those features, but I don't have the right gap here. I'm not sure about the belly button. I think mine doesn't have a belly button either, so mine's not real. No belly button, no gap. I think the gap might be down here actually. So the gap is where the fur starts versus the belt, I think. And then, of course, by pulling the leg back, looking inside to see if it's brown on the inside. And then also the boots on real ones should go above the fur, which I did that on my copy here too, just because I know that that's what it's supposed to have. So anyway, but again, looking for that gap in the belt and the belly button, those are two dead giveaways. So, but even still, all that, yeah, the books are cool. This one right here is my favorite, the Power and Honor Foundation one. It's where I get a lot of my ideas for stuff. And it says volume 1, but they only made one. And they had a cease and desist to stop making them. And a lot of the guys actually pitched in money to buy the artwork to put in here. So like, I think it was one of these pictures was like $5,000 somebody spent on the picture. And so they had this whole entire club of guys who spent all this money to get all the original artwork. So I could find that $5,000 He-Man picture. I think it might have been this one. I'm not sure if that was the one that was $5,000 or not. But it was crazy to think that someone spent that much money plus all the other, you know, I mean, look at that. But the crazy part is when Mattel made their art book that they released at the Comic-Con that one time, they actually got a hold of these guys to help them make it or something like that on top of it. So it's kind of a weird dealy bob. Hey Mike, you didn't miss too much. You missed the part where I talked about some cool new store. So for those that are on here now or on before, check out the link in the description. And there's this, like I was mentioned earlier, this guy, he's actually selling stuff, some He-Man stuff too, to help local family for Christmas. So a lot of the proceeds goes towards charity to help a local family for Christmas. The link's in the description, and check it out. Yeah, Rick, it's crazy how expensive sometimes the old art can get, because there's only one. There's just one. And this was back a long time ago that it was $5,000 for that picture. We're talking, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I can imagine what it's worth now. I mean, I can't imagine her telling my wife, "Hey, I got this original box art picture of He-Man. It only cost me $25,000." Ah, you know, she'd freak out and too. So that would be pretty funny. All right, well, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. I'm not sure when the next one's going to be. Let's see. Yes, hopefully they make a Wonder Bread He-Man, or whatever they call him, Barbarian He-Man, brown-haired He-Man, extra figure He-Man, illegal Conan He-Man, whatever they decide to call him. Hopefully they do make him in Origins as well. So that'd be cool. Yeah, yeah. Maybe Jeff's wife did ground him. No more watching that guy. He's always getting you to spend money on figures you don't need. Yeah. And anyway, do check out that link in the description, you guys. Thanks. I'm sure the person who made that storefront will really appreciate it as well. So I will talk to you guys next video. I'm just going to look through this book while we're closing out. Oh, some of the stuff in it's so cool. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Oh, the coolness of it all. And look at that. Look at that. That is so cool looking. Some of the ideas they had were just incredible. See, look at the different Teelas too. Look at Prince Adam. Mr. Flamboyant Prince Adam. I just thought it was funny, the Buzz-Off original guy was going to have a human head. So they were going to put a human head on him instead of having it a fly head. Just a human dressed as a bee. Yeah, some of the stuff is so cool. Anyway, thanks for joining me, you guys. I'm going to keep perusing this book while I let you guys go. Maybe someday I'll make a video showing the whole thing. As you keep watching my videos, I'm sure you'll see parts of it. Oh, there he is. There he is. He was such a cool figure. Oh, I made that cool sarcophagus for him, too. Oh, that's creepy. Look at the wizard guy. He has no body. Just boots. And what, does this creature sit inside of him or something? Or see, much like Dragon Lord. Oh, I see they had another guy over here that released a creature too. Oh, crazy. And of course you can see here the beginnings of our Rio Blast. His name was going to be called Firepower Man. Firepower Man! That guy. What? Urgh. Anyway, there's some cool stuff in here, you guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next video. I always enjoy hanging out with you. Bye now. Brave Star Man. Yep, from the movie. Why were there just boots? Because he had like a dragon that stayed inside of his body. It was crazy. Yeah, I wish that new FOMO Lords of Power would release kits to update some of your classics. I mean, imagine using the Battle Armor Teela to make that new figure that looks like Shirella. I mean, that'd be so cool, you know, have a head, the helmet, some weapons, and armor. I'm going to get her and see if I can get the armor to fit on Battleground Teela. That's going to be cool. Maybe see if I can swap the head out too. Alright, I'm going to go now for real. Bye, you guys. Good journey.